Have you ever seen houses that look like this? Or maybe you've even seen a house that looks something like this. Well, a lot of times, simply, those are just foreclosed houses. They look abandoned because they are abandoned. In this video, I'm going to give you some great tips and some great thoughts about how to properly prepare yourself before going to the auction. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome to the video. Welcome to my channel. My name is Zach, here with Real Estate Talk, where I try to make everything easy about real estate for everyone. So if this is the type of video that you like, if this is the kind of content that you like, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free for you guys, and it definitely helps me out a lot. It helps me be able to get better content to you guys. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about a few things when it comes to foreclosures. There's a few things that you want to watch out for when going to buy a foreclosure. Foreclosures are not the easiest thing. You got to have a stomach for it. Sometimes you get into a house and it's really, really bad. So let's get into some things and talk about what are some things that you can look out for before buying a foreclosure. So the first thing that you can watch out for, first thing that you need to do before even really getting into the foreclosure market is you need to ask yourself one question. What do you want to do with that house once it's properly fixed up? Are you looking to sell it? Are you looking to hold it? What is your goal with that house? That is going to determine kind of the plan and moving forward with the house. So example is if you're trying to hold the house, hold it as a rental property, there's going to be not as many nice things, if that makes sense, that you're going to put into this house. Maybe you do quartz countertops instead of granite, because you're trying to up the price of that house as much as possible for the comps for that area. Whereas with the rental, if you're going to have renters in it, you don't want to put over the top nice things because tenants, you know, they're not always the best. You may run into a bad tenant. So you really don't want to over improve if you're getting a rental. So a little side note, holding is always better than selling. I know there's going to be a lot of people that's going to say, man, well, I can make 30, 40, 50, whatever, however many thousands of dollars on it, which is true. But as soon as you do that, you do what's called a taxable event because you sold that house and all that profit you just made now becomes taxable. Don't give the IRS free money. All right, so hopping right into some of the things that you want to look for before you pick a house to go buy at the auction. First thing you want to do is research the location. This is one of the most, if not the most important thing in real estate. We have a saying, location, 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 and there's a reason for that. Location, you want a house that is next to good schools, hospitals, has good jobs nearby. You don't want to just get a house that has nothing going for it. So that's the first thing that I do. The next thing that I do is after you kind of find a good location, you know, you figure out where the house is located. Next thing that I do is I figure out how much is owed to that bank, because that's going to kind of tell you immediately, is there going to be room for profit? Quick example, if the house is worth 200 grand and you see that they owe the bank 150, well, the bank's probably not going to go to auction letting it go for less than what they need back. So there's probably not going to be a lot of room for profit. So you can just kind of scratch that house right off. So another good habit to get into while you're kind of checking for this, check to see if the taxes have been paid. Because if they have not, then you're going to be responsible for paying those taxes. Now, usually taxes are paid. They're kept current by the sheriff. That's usually something that happens, but double check. You don't want to be caught surprised. Okay, so from here, once I kind of found a good location, let's say I found a few houses that are in good locations. I checked to see, okay, there might be some room for profit in there. Now I kind of compile a list together of houses I want to physically go see. You have to put your eyes on a house. You can't just trust, you know, just happenstance or just say, oh, I'm going to get this house for a good deal. No. You have to go look at it. You have to put your eyes on it. You need to see the condition of the house. Now, there's a few things you want to look for, but a word of caution. If you're going to look at these houses, please pay attention if there's signs of trespassing no trespassing signs. Please check to see if someone lives there, because if the house is not vacant and you just start walking on the property trying to look at it, you could get in a lot of trouble for that. If you walk up to a property and it is vacant, don't go inside. I don't care if the house is open or not, just don't go inside. You don't want to be caught trespassing. Look through the windows, things like that. Try to get a good sense of the house. But there's one thing that I always tell people: assume the absolute worst about everything on the inside of that house. Assume you have to fully gut it, that you have to redo everything, that things are not up to code. If you go into it assuming the worst and hoping for the best, that's a perfect plan, because you won't be caught unaware or surprised by any cost. So for the exterior of the house, there's definitely a lot you want to look for. Can be a lot of high ticket items out here. The roof, see what condition the roof is in. If you can tell that there's a big hole in it, well, assume you need a new roof. The AC, try to see if you can look at it. See, does it look like it works? Is it in good condition? Does it look like it's been cleaned? Windows, the foundation, checking for cracks, looking for potential big trees. I know out here, big trees could mean, a lot of damage, or just, squirrels, things like that, rodents. You want to look at doors. Is there a pool? Just do as much visual reconnaissance on the outside of that house as possible. You want to get a full assessment as much as you can to allow you to get the most accurate potential budget possible. So the next thing that I kind of do is I'm going to check the MLS for any old listings of that house at that address. This is a great, maybe sometimes quick and easy way to see potential layout, get an idea of square footage, bedrooms and bathrooms. If you get lucky enough and find one within the past year or so, maybe you can get hopefully a decent idea of the current condition. Although you don't want to fully rely on it, it can help you get a plan together. And also at the same time, I'm running comps too. So I'm looking to see, what could I potentially sell this house for, or better, what is the value of this house? Because like I said, I'm going to hold it. So I'm going to have to get a mortgage on it. So what is going to be the value of this house after I renovate it? That is huge. If you can figure out a good price for the house after it's been renovated, you can kind of back into your numbers that way. All right, so last thing that I do before going to auction, before saying, yes, this is a house I'm going to go to the auction and bid on, I'm checking with the title company to make sure that foreclosure is actually clean. You'd be surprised, sometimes a law office who usually will handle these, sometimes they mess up on the paperwork. Sometimes we're all human. Sometimes they make a mistake. So checking with the title company to make sure that the foreclosure is clean, that you are buying the first mortgage, not the second, not a reverse, not a HELOC. Making sure that you're buying the first mortgage, because if you're buying that first mortgage off, you're buying the house. You want to make sure that the taxes are paid and current, and just do a simple title search to just check the house. Make sure when the house was sold, if it's been sold recently, make sure the title work was done correctly. Once that final box is checked off for me, and I know how much it's going to cost to renovate, I know how much I can sell it for, I then can go to auction with a number saying I'm not going to pay more than X amount of dollars. For example, let's say there's a house that you could potentially renovate, and it'll be worth maybe around $250,000, but it's going to require probably right around $100,000 just to get it fixed up, repaired, maybe $110,000. Take that 250, subtract that 110,000. Now you're at about 150. Now you kind of know, okay, I need to leave a little room for some profit in there. If you're getting a mortgage, remember, you're more than likely going to get 80% of the value. So you want to account for that. So once you kind of get those numbers, I know how much I'm going to go spend. I potentially know my profit. And a word of advice for you: don't ever let someone pressure you into bidding more than that house is worth. If you know, and I've said this before, if you know you're not going to spend more than 100,000 because there's no room for profit, don't go over that. If someone says 105, let them take it. Just move on to the next one. So here's a little quick note for you all. When you're doing these auctions, check with your local sheriff, check with their website, or maybe call them, see what time they start, because usually I know out here they will start at exactly 10 o'clock and they won't wait for anybody. And also check to see when you have to make the payment. I know some areas require an immediate payment, so you may have to come there with a bunch of cashier checks, or you may have to come with some certified funds, money order, something. Other places, like kind of how we have it out here, you have until 2 p.m. to pay for it. So that gives you, an hour or so to get to the bank, get your money, but double check that, because that is very important, because you don't want to get caught in a lawsuit if you don't pay on time. So thank you everyone for watching this. It's kind of a shorter video, didn't want to take too much time, but really wanted to get this information out. I really appreciate everyone who's watched the videos, subscribed so far. Remember, I aim to make real estate easy for everyone. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I will definitely answer them. In the meantime, if you want to learn and have some more info on investing in real estate, I'm going to link a playlist right here in front of you, so that way you can see all those videos.